Hi, my name is Jenny.
Hello, folks. How are you doing? Hope you're doing fine wherever you are today. Now, there's something that I want to address. Most of us back here in Africa, especially African countries, people are struggling to make both ends meet, and I understand there is this interest of getting outside the country and going to look for greener pastures because, yeah, people believe that the grass is green on the other side. While that might be true, uh, there is also a rising situation of the United States, and everyone is anticipating the fall of the United States. It's not something to celebrate, but at the same time, if you look at it deeply, it's not something also that we can be sad to, because the United States has led to the detriment of some African countries, has been part of the detriment of some activities that have been happening in the world, which is not okay, right? And citizens of the United States are sad about the changes. Like, life is not normal like it used to be, and people are not saying like the life they used to live is normal because things are so much expensive, a lot of insecurities, a lot of abductions, people are missing, women are missing, a lot of things are happening. And the United States that used to be the United States is not the United States. Now, I want you to watch this video. These are experts who have lived in the United States, and they have also tested life outside. And comparatively, they're seeing United States as a toxic place, as a place not to be. And they're advising you, they're telling you to rethink your stay, rethink about the future of the United States. If you're a person who wanna have family, this is something that you might wanna rethink about. So I want us to dive right into the video. I'll be back where we'll be having a discussion and trying to understand each other, trying to talk about this. Until then, let's dive right into the video. I'll be back.
I hope I can say this respectfully, but after 10 years in Mexico, and then I come back to the United States, I am deeply concerned about what I see as a psychological discomfort that is so obvious in comparison to Mexico. People from the United States can be the best, kindest, most responsible people, but a large majority look like they're just losing it. The last couple of days, I've risked it, and I've asked people, when I said good afternoon to you, or hello, why, if you don't mind me asking, did you just pull away and turn your back? One said, I just want to be left alone. That's fine. Thank you for answering my question. The one that I thought was most interesting was the Mexicana. When I asked her why she got defensive and kind of turned her back to me, she was really honest and sweet. She said, in Mexico, people, they see you in trouble, they help. Here in the United States, they see you in trouble, they try to find a reason to look away. She said, in Mexico, everyone can look different in one family, but here in the United States, everything's racialized. And the pressure, like here in Orange County, California, the pressure of always being alone, you just zone out. And I think we see a real issue here in the United States, that it's gonna snap soon or it's gonna get fixed. Because there's no way you can have this much pressure, this much solidarity, this much being alone and make it. And I feel really sorry for people, because there are people outside of the United States who people from the United States look down on, and they're living their best lives. They may eat only beans and rice, but they're happy. They may only eat noodles, but they're happy. And if you say hello to them, they will say hello. They will turn their whole body to you, and they will say, it's so good to see you. Have a great day. They'll even start talking to you. They'll want to get to know you. That wanting to get to know you after you say hi to somebody here in the United States, unheard of. Completely unheard of. Again, I love my country. But I feel sorry for the sadness and the tension, the loneliness and the fear that I see in so many people.
America is not normal. America is not normal. Story time. So, if you've never seen me before, I live in Tbilisi, Georgia. I left the United States in 2021. I started in Mexico, got residency, decided it wasn't the right place for me. I've lived in 7 countries. That means at least 3 months or longer. And now I'm currently in Tbilisi, Georgia. I'm actually in the laundromat here. I did a previous video about some tips, but America is not normal. And I'm going to tell you why. So, I signed a lease, kind of a long-term lease here in Tbilisi, Georgia. And I pay in cash. Well, that was before I got an account. So I'm paying in cash, and he comes to my apartment to pick it up. So when he was coming, I asked him to bring me a copy of the contract that we signed. He was like, oh, I thought I did, or whatever. He was like, okay, I don't have it with me now. I'll come by in a day or so and do it. So 2 days later, he comes by with a contract and to pick up the rent. Now, you all know, as Americans, rent day is rent day. And so, in my mind, I was already preparing for some type of confrontation, right? I had already decided I'm not going to pay a late fee, right? Because I had already had my explanation, my argument put together. Like, I was waiting on you to bring the lease, so you decided it took you that long to bring the lease, right? My whole argument, you know how we do in the United States, right? And so I'm like, I was ready to tell him I'm not going to pay a fee. And then I was thinking, well, what if he says, well, if you don't pay, then you're going to be evicted. So I'm trying to think through, okay, so how am I going to handle this situation? So anyway, he comes, he brings the contract, and I'm prepared to give him the rent. So we're downstairs, and there's a co-working space in my building on the bottom floor. So I go in there and I sit down and I say to him, I said, listen, I don't think I should have to pay a late fee because, you know, it took you a long time to bring me the contract. I didn't say that I wasn't going to pay you the rent without the contract. I just said to bring the contract, and you decided not to come pick up the rent. So that's not my fault. He was looking at me baffled, like, what is she talking about? I was like, you don't remember this conversation? I was like, I have the notes, I have the messages on WhatsApp, so I can prove my point. And he was like, I'm not charging you late rent. I don't understand. I was like, oh, I just want to be clear because I know that there is a clause in the contract about late fees, and I don't want there to be an issue, and I don't want you sending the police and putting a note on my door and trying to evict me. He was like, evict? This man said, I, in my 40s, I have a family. I manage 15 properties. He said, I have never seen anyone evicted from their apartment. Never, not a friend, not a family member, not me. Never. I've never seen anyone evicted. So, you know, y'all, I'm in shock. Because, you know, in America, if you a couple minutes late, you got a note on your door, they done changed the locks. Listen, you out on the street. He was like, what are you, he was like, we would never do that. Like, why would we do that? I was like, so what if somebody can't pay rent? Like, what if, he was like, he said, listen, if you ever have an issue with rent, just call me and we'll figure something out. Y'all, I was blown away. I was blown away, y'all. I was baffled. The way we live in America is not normal. People are not so aggressive and disregarding your humanity. Like, he couldn't even fathom the fact that I thought he would possibly put me out of my apartment. Made no sense to him, okay? That's number one. Number two, buying a house. I bought a house in my life. Maybe you bought a house in your life, right? You bought a house in the United States. You literally have to give them your left liver and your auntie's ear, right? Just to get to the process, just to get approved, just through the process. And you're biting your nails the whole time. You're waiting. There's all this paperwork. You got to prove that your job is good enough, that your debt to income ratio is right, yada, yada, yada. Listen, here, they have properties that you can buy as an American. Right? You want to diversify your investments, which I do recommend. So let's say if I were to buy a property, and the properties here are pretty inexpensive. I'm talking about new construction. Let's say I were to buy a property for $50,000, and I have some money, but I don't want to get a loan. Right? I can buy a property here. They will say, okay, it's $50,000. Pay us 10% down. And we'll go ahead and do the construction. It'll take about 2 years for the property to be built. And then you just pay a certain amount of money to us every month. until it's paid off within that term, and we're good. What? What about the interest rate? There's no interest. What? What about the credit check? There's no credit check. What? What about me showing proof that I have a job and that, you know, I deserve to live here and I'm not a criminal and yeah, that, you know, my debt to income ratio is right. It's like, that's not how things work. So when I tell you the way that we live in America is not normal. It's not normal for someone, for the state or the government or whoever you want to call it, or the bank to take your home from you because you missed a property payment, or for the HOA to take your home because you missed a couple of HOA payments. That is not normal, y'all. That's not the real world. Now, I'm not telling you that there are situations where people get loans abroad and things like that. But the way that we are treated in America and the expectations that are put upon us that we think are normal, and we think we're always falling short, that we're not good enough. Oh, I don't have perfect credit. Oh, I don't have the right debt to income ratio. I've been evicted in the past, so I don't deserve to have a roof over my head. That is not how the rest of the world operates. The rest of the world doesn't think we have to prove our worth as a human being to have shelter over our heads. The way we live, well, because I'm not there no more. The way you live in America is not normal. If you've been considering leaving the United States, 1, set your leave date. 2, valid passport. 3, join my wait list and get some help. You deserve better. You deserve better. I've been gone for 3 years, and I'm never coming back.
Question for people in other countries. Do you want to visit us anymore?
Hey, American here. So, born in LA, lived in New York, but I haven't lived in the US for about 15 years. I've lived in Shanghai, Seoul, and now I'm currently in Melbourne, Australia. Now, to answer your question, let's get rid of the obvious stuff like gun violence and lack of affordable health care and politicians on both sides that really don't care about the people they're supposed to serve. So these are my 3 reasons why I would not visit, let alone move back to the United States. Number 1, the fuck am I supposed to talk to anybody about? Americans are so myopic and in their own little bubble that it's hard to have a cosmopolitan conversation with most of them. And if I was to talk about America not being the center of the world, it would blow their minds and probably cause a fight. Number 2, the food. Every time I go back, I feel so bloated and gassy and sick. And that's because the food there is so processed and full of sugar and just terrible for you. Many countries around the world won't even allow American food to be imported because it is so bad. So why am I going to waste my time and my health dining out at a California pizza kitchen? And number 3, it's also vanilla, boring, and the same. With the exception of like San Francisco, New Orleans, and New York, it's pretty much any town USA. It's the same strip malls, the same fast food joints, and the same suburban households spread out as far as the eye can see. There's plenty of more interesting places around the world that I'd much rather visit that are more cosmopolitan, have better food, and I'm not going to get shot.
America is not what it once was. I've got some bad news for people who don't travel internationally. The world hates us, okay? We're not the big dogs. We don't have the clout that we once had. We aren't even like statistically on top of anything, education or anything anymore. And I've traveled a lot internationally. Over COVID, obviously, I stopped. And there's always been an underlying tone that America is dangerous. But, you know, we run Hollywood, so a lot of the media that is consumed by people in other countries is still American. However, I'm on my first international trip since COVID, and it has gotten worse. I have heard from every nationality that America is dangerous, but I arrived in Indonesia, which is a country that, you know, a lot of people aim to get out of and go to America. And the first thing that my taxi driver says to me is that he's afraid of America because of all the poppy seeds that we're taking and all the jazz powder that people are using. And he's convinced that people are walking around the US like zombies, because that's what's on the internet. That's what these people are seeing. And I think it's a really big lesson if you are sheltered and are not leaving the US. We don't got it. Like, we don't got it anymore. People don't want to live in America. People aren't eager to live in America. When I was in Europe, A lot of the kids said their parents wouldn't let them go to America because they were afraid they were going to get popped by the police. Like, those are the fears. The only fear that Americans have when their children travel overseas is that they're going to be, like in the movie Taken, which is a very small possibility. And they just use that as a fear. I don't even, like, that's not really even a founded fear. People aren't taking Americans when we go, because you know how big of a hell case they would raise if some little white girl went missing? That's not what's happening. But what is happening is other people from other nations are going to America and bad things are happening to them. So, just a reminder, we ain't shit. We ain't shit.
I don't know what's happening, but I feel like people are getting to know the truth that indeed America was never great. And it is at this moment that like most of people just want to leave. A lot of insecurities, a lot of things happening, and the lifestyle which was there before, it's not there. Family structure is so messed up. People are not same together. People are same just to be on the social media. Like, people are not interacting like a normal life setup. And people are seeking families. People are seeking a new life, a new, fresh breath of just a different. People want something different. I've chosen to leave the place, and I don't know where you want to go, but if you're a person who is planning to make that move, I respect you. I pray for you that everything you want to achieve by just leaving the place, it's okay, because honestly, it is never the same as it was. Like, for those people who've been in the United States, they're saying that it's not like it was before, and things have changed, right? There's so much corporate greed which is going on in the United States today, and people are talking about this. It's like people are tired, right? And that those common things like housing, high cost of goods, people are used to this, and it's not like it's okay, but the life itself is not the same. There's so much insecurity. People are afraid of even raising family, starting a family in the United States, right? So it's not the right thing. It's not the same thing. America is not what it used to be, or at least not even great for black people. It was never great even for black people, right? Because it itself, and some people are arguing the reasons why America will never be great, because it was built from the pain and the sadness from the blood of black people. And for it to be okay, the United States needs to pay reparations to people, to black people. People who are viewing things like spirituality, like spiritually, right? That's their argument. Also, on the other point is there's so much that needs to be fixed for it to be a great country, or for those people who believe that it was great before, right? Foreign interference, that's one thing they should stop, because it makes people lose faith in it. Seeing the United States mingling in other people's business, mingling in other people's country, this makes people lose faith in it. And I think this is a message to different people who want to come to America, want to go to America. I'm not in America. Who want to go to America. Be it that you are a person who is looking for a greener pasture. I know the grass ain't green on the other side. Just listen to how people complain about the lifestyle. People complaining about how it's not the same. Things are damn expensive. Things are way expensive as it used to be. So I don't know what you're going to do. And like, everyone right now is feeling like they're slave to that country. And if they could get any chance to leave, they would leave, right? And I'm not even talking about the insecurity that is there, the number of women that are recorded missing daily, the number of kids that are recorded missing daily, the number of bodies being retrieved which were missing daily are happening. So it's not like it's a safe place. And I understand somebody could counter this argument by saying that a lot of insecurities are in different countries, and I understand that. But look at the frequency, of this happening. This tells you that it is not a safe place, right? And I just pray that you be safe wherever you are. I just pray that you get whatever you are, what you're doing, and Because I know that not everyone could live in the United States, and people don't have the means of leaving the place. But what you can do is just increase extra measures like security. Those are one of the most important things you can do for yourself, for your family. Raising your kids in a toxic state like that, I mean, you need to figure out something that you can do about it. Because if you don't, it will dawn to you that it's not easy. And yeah, there are a lot of things that are happening, and people are coming out complaining about this. So expats who have left the United States and tried life different places, and I've seen a couple of expats even um, here in Kenya, here in Africa, you know, and they say life is way different, and they see more opportunity as compared to what they were experiencing in the United States. The social life, the family, like things are just different. And when they move to these places, they now see life. They now see how people interact. They now see how people live, and they see difference. Like it's not the same like it used to be. And when they get to these places, they see a new dawn. They see a new life up comes, as compared to the place where they come from, where the definition of the United States is disillusionment, a state of, hopelessness. That's what everyone is living in fear. Anybody could barge into your door anytime, right? People keep on fighting for no reason, right? It's not great like it used to be before. I don't know. Tell me what to think about this. These are presented unique stories. I'm hoping to see you in my next video. But until then, peace, love, and harmony.